movie begins with a group of men enjoying their time at a bar. One of the guys named John tells his friends that he will become friends with the girls playing the violin. Others bet that he will not even be able to get a smile from her. John accepts the bet and tries very hard to get her attention, but the woman doesn't pay any attention to him. He even removed his clothes, but the woman does not react to that. It turns out that the woman has been blind for 20 years, and it was her mother who smashed her face in the mirror for using her makeup, which made her blind. On reaching her home, she receives a call from her doctor, telling her that they have a donor. Emma agrees to go for the surgery. Doctors operate on her one eye, which turns out to be successful. As Emma is able to see after 20 years, she couldn't control her tears of joy and thanks the doctor. Later, a person comes to Emma's room but leaves without saying anything. Candace from Emma's band tells the doctor that she went to meet Emma and she couldn't even see her. The doctor tells Candace that her vision will take time as her eyes have been sleeping for 20 years. The next day, Emma sees a woman in her room. As she comes forward, she falls, but the doctor arrives in time to help her. Dr. Pierce tells her that there is no one. She tells him she saw a woman with flowers. Dr. Pierce informs Emma it was Candace, but she came yesterday. As per his observation, this could be due to the perceptual delay resulting from the surgery. Her second eye surgery also goes well, and the doctor tells Emma that she will have blurry vision, but eventually her full vision will come back. Emma jokingly says,
"I want my money back."
The woman living above Emma's apartment tells her that the mailman had wrongly delivered Emma's letter to her, and she has slid those letters under Emma's apartment door. Later that night, Emma wakes up due to noises from the above apartment. When she goes out to check, she sees a man with her hazy vision. Believing it to be the property manager, she calls him. The guy says everything is fine, and she goes back inside. She wakes up the next morning and sees that the main door is open. She goes to close it and sees a man standing outside, but the door is in fact close. As she turns around, she sees him again and shouts, but there is no one other than her dog. She goes upstairs to check on her neighbor, but she doesn't open the door. She goes to the police station and finds the same person who was dancing naked at the bar. The officer tries to hide his face from her. As she tells him that she was blind until a few weeks ago, it gives the officer relief as she cannot recognize him. She describes what she heard and saw last night, however. The officer doesn't take her seriously considering her eye condition and asks her to read from a poster which is not clearly visible to her. This makes her angry, and she leaves the station. 2 days later, the police arrive at a crime scene involving rape and murder based on the information from the building manager. To investigate, the officer knocks on the door of the apartment below, and it turns out to be Emma's apartment. Seeing Emma, John realizes he should have listened to her and now wants her help. She again narrates the entire incident. She further tells him the guy she saw on the stairs had a strong soap smell coming from him. John takes her to the police station to help with the investigation. The police suspect it is a serial killer since he left the same cross on her previous victim as well. The chief tells John to find the killer quickly. While playing with the band, she sees the same guy standing in the crowd, which makes her nervous, and she loses her rhythm. She goes to Candace and asks her to call Officer John. The police ask her to identify the man as people are passing in line in front of her, but the guy is not there. John then takes her to the police station to identify the accused from the police lineup. Since her vision is not fully restored, she finds it hard to focus and identifies one of the guys as a culprit but retracts her statement as she is not sure. John takes her out and tells her that the person she identified is a police officer. John starts taunting her by saying she is doing this to seek attention, and he comes across people like her every day, to which Emma tells him that this is coming from a guy who strips naked in a bar. John gets embarrassed and asks her if she saw him in the bar, to which Emma responds the guys in the band recognize John. They then sit in a coffee shop, and as they are discussing the case, Emma tells John that the killer doesn't like blood as he washes his hands very hard, which leaves a peculiar smell on his hands. John is impressed by her observation, and the two seem to be coming together. After an appointment with the doctor, Emma is walking in the parking garage of a hospital when her guide dog Ralphie begins to act jittery. The dog runs away from Emma, and as she follows the dog, she sees a cross lying on the floor. She sees the same guy standing at some distance and starts to walk away. The guy begins to follow them. The dog goes after the guy, and during this chase, the dog is hit by a car. When the police arrive, she tells them she smelled the same soap and saw a cross. John never told her about the cross on the previous victims. John asks her to show the cross, but it is no longer there. The chief believes she is a dead end, but after this incident, John's belief in her becomes stronger. Later, John visits her apartment and shows her a cross and asks if she saw this one earlier, to which she says no. Then he shows her another one which was found on the previous victim's body. Emma confirms she saw the second one. Emma believes she will be removed from the investigation because of her condition, but John tells her he believes in her, and that is why he has provided her police protection. She tells him she can take care of herself and breaks the lamp. During their arguments, John holds her down and tells her that he wants her to help him find the killer. As their struggle continues, the romantic tension between them is quite evident. Emma taunts John that he will not be able to control his feelings for long. John doesn't let it impact him and leaves. John receives a call from the officer protecting Emma that he lost her. He finds Emma in the bar where she performs with her band. There he finds that she's going on a date with Dr. Pierce. However, he follows them everywhere to make sure she is safe. Dr. Pierce kisses Emma and John is watching them. After Dr. Pierce leaves, Emma turns back and looks at John before going inside. John goes to Emma's apartment and she tells him that she doesn't have feelings for the doctor as she likes someone else, which results in a passionate moment between both of them. They begin seeing each other frequently and find it hard to keep their hands to themselves. Emma confesses her love to John, and as they are having an intimate moment, John receives a call that another murder has happened in Milwaukee. The chief blames John for the third murder since he has failed to capture the killer. John asks the chief to take him off this case. The chief refuses his ask and tells him to find the killer ASAP. When Emma reaches her home, she sees the killer has drawn eyes on the mirror of her closet. Officer Ridgely shows the picture to John. John asks him to take care of Emma and distances himself from her as he stops visiting her and avoids taking her calls. Emma comes to John's office and questions him on why he is not taking her calls, which results in an argument between the two. He takes her to a separate room, and the fight continues between them about their relationship, which results in Emma storming off from his office. When Ridgely reaches the police station, John tells him that Emma has left the station. Ridgely blames John for her situation and goes to find Emma. While waiting for the train, she has a distorted vision of the killer approaching her. She gets on the train and sees that the killer is following her. She starts to walk away and asks for help. She faints out of fear, but it turns out to be Ridgely who was following her and not the killer. Later, when seeing Dr. Pierce for an appointment, Emma becomes wary when she sees the doctor using surgical soap, as she remembers this was the scent when she encountered the killer. John finds medical bills addressed to Emma wrongly and lists the upstairs apartment as hers. John finds out that the previous victims had received organs from a donor named Leslie Davidson. Based on the leads, John comes up with a theory that the killer loved the woman and is now killing all those who received her organs. As the medical record has an incorrect Emma address, the killer killed Valerie by mistake instead of Emma. Dr. Pierce shows up outside Emma's apartment, claiming the family of her organ donor wants to get in touch with her. After some hesitation, Emma agrees to visit the family. While visiting Leslie's mother, John finds that she never asked to meet Emma. Emma heads to the location with Crow, her police officer escort. Emma knocks on the door of the house, but nobody is home. She goes to tell Crow, who is parked in an empty garage. However, she finds that Crow has been murdered by the killer. Before Emma can run out, he closes the garage door. John finds out from Dr. Pierce that she has gone to meet the mother of Leslie. The murderer, a former hospital orderly, refers to Emma as Leslie and taunts her that her eyes look different. The radio message distracts the killer, Neil, and gives Emma the opportunity to respond to the radio briefly before Neil disconnects the wire. Emma finds Crow's gun and shoots at Neil, but her impaired vision makes it difficult for her to shoot. The cops reach the address where Emma was supposed to meet Leslie's mother, but there is no one in the house. After a prolonged chase around the garage, Emma manages to shoot the killer dead. On hearing the gunshots, the cops run to the garage and bring Emma to safety. After some questioning at the police station, Ridgely offers to ride Emma home, but John is waiting outside with Emma's dog. Emma decides to walk home with John and the movie ends there.